morning, folks. It was approximately 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on September 11th. That's right, 9/11, folks. Hope our creators keeping you well and safe wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to hit that like button and share this across other platforms so we can let people know what's going on out in our solar system and the effects it can have on Earth. We're going to start off today doing a quick little update from that sneaky coronal mass ejection that I showed you guys the other day. And as you can see here, it's looking like the beginning of our impact will be on the 14th, right around midnight. This is the Euphoria model. Euphoria has actually got things up to date versus Enlil, which is, of course, as we know, Anunnaki wannabe god. And we can see our plasma kind of comes up. Looks like we've got some solar wind streams, the little brunt ahead of it. As you can clearly see right here, this is the Earth. And this right here is that sneaky CME that released. I was predicting it to be around late tonight into tomorrow, but it's traveling quite slow because there was not a lot of force behind it. So it looks like we're going to be taking that one right on the 14th, starting at midnight, and it peaks around 10:13 UTC time. So for Central Standard Time, minus 6 hours, that would put it about 4 o'clock in the morning, about 4:13 in the morning when it peaks. And it looks like we're going to have about 33 centimeters cubed. Interesting, 33. We did have ourselves a couple of little C flares pop off here. Let's see the regions that they're going to affect. Looks like it's going to be Africa. There's one little C flare, a little pop, a little quick, nothing major. It was just kind of like a impulsive flare. And we got a second one. Oop, looks like that one got this side of Africa. So let's go take a look at GOES and see what she looks like. And as we come over here, we are looking at GOES 16 at 94 angstroms of light. We can see the flares are coming right from this little region right here. And it looks like there's a little bit of plasma release from it, not much at all. In fact, more than likely it's going to be recaptured. We can go take a look. Yeah, let's go take a look at another angstrom here. Click on this. Come on over here to 94 angstroms, or excuse me, 195 angstroms. We'll click on her. As we get zoomed in, we can see the eruption here, and it kind of slides down this way. So it looks like it's being recaptured. The majority of there might be a little poof of it. It looks like we've got a little action going on right here at this wannabe coronal hole. Looks like it's wanting to be one. So we've got a nice coronal hole here on the northern hemisphere of the sun, but yeah, this kind of wants to open up. We've got movement here and here, so we'll have to see what happens with that a little bit later. Let's check it out on the 304. So we'll come on down here, and we'll check out the 304, see what happens with it. We got the 304 fired up, and it looks like you can see it, the trail coming down here. It hasn't quite released yet. It might be getting recaptured. And then, of course, taking a look here, we'll have to see what happens. Why is that there? Get out of there. Silly thing. There we go. We do have some movement here, so we'll actually have to wait to see what happens later on today. We might have a little bit of a coronal mass ejection. It's really small, though. I'm not seeing anything major out of it. Coming over here to spaceweatherlive.com, we can clearly see that this right here is where we had our little C flares, a little C4, and a C4.59. So, yeah, what was this one? C4.73. Okay, so we've been, actually we came right down, we were living in B, in a constant state of B flux, which is alright with me. Then we do have our dropouts right here. There's one here, and then clearly there's one here, and we actually had one here. But those dropouts are just from where the GOES satellite sits, and it actually happens to get every year around this time. It happens to get on the back side of the Earth, and the Earth gets in the way, so it doesn't really have, it can't get a reading, so that's why it drops down to 0. And that's only when only time that happens is when the Earth gets in the way. Checking out our star here, we're going to look at it at once again. This is 193 angstroms of light, and we'll actually see that little sneaky guy right here. But we're also going to see what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we actually had an eruption that came down. It actually kind of erupted out, but then it actually kind of caused a coronal hole slightly. So there was our little sneaky one that came off. Okay, that was from the other day, but there was one that kind of erupts out of here, but it recaptures and it kind of opens a coronal hole, so to speak, and that's quite unusual. And you'll see that here in just a moment. Right about now. Whoosh. See that? And see how that coronal hole kind of opened up a little bit? Which is kind of unusual. Usually it doesn't do that. So for me, that was quite interesting. Just to use a couple of reference, because I do like to do Schumann on the weekends. This has been our Schumann today. This is our electromagnetic field. This is over in Cumiana, Italy. So right here's the website. If you come on down here, we actually took a look at the actual Schumann itself. We can see we've only got a couple of spikes here. This has been all day today. You got to remember this is on UTC time, so it is 6 hours ahead. And this was all day yesterday, and this was the day before. And then look at what we had a few days ago. Yeah, we had some activity, but it seems to be pretty quiet. However, the Russian Schumann is quite different. Looking over here at disclosurenews.it, we've got 5 days of darkness. It literally just shut off here, and we've been in complete blackout. No information, no data. So what's going on in Tomsk, Russia, where this is not up? That's interesting. And if anybody's not aware, the Prince Charles announced 17 days of mourning for his mother, the Lizard Queen, Elizabeth, for mourning for her. Yeah, whatever. But I did want to keep everybody in a reminder that right here, this is where the planets are today. Okay, now with us being right here, we're in a pretty good pull between Saturn and Jupiter, but we're coming closer to Jupiter. So if you happen to be a sky watcher at night and you have your telescope out and you have good conditions, Jupiter should be very easy to spot. It's going to be very large coming toward as we're getting closer to it, and it's definitely going to have a lot of sunlight coming from this side. So you'll definitely be able to see this. By all means, get out. Mars you'll be able to see as well. But the other thing I wanted everybody to keep in remembrance, we're going to be going through the connection line here between Jupiter and Earth. Okay, so we're going to have the Earth crossing the geomagnetic line between Jupiter and our Sun, and then Neptune is also going to be in the way of that. So there's going to be 3 planets all lined up pulling. Now, what I mean by geomagnetic line is I mean these guys right here. Okay, this is our geomagnetic line that keeps us connected to the Sun, so we don't just fling out. Okay, this is where we're at. Okay, and our line here, now imagine 3 of these lines being pulled together and pulling off. Now, these 2 are satellites. This is stereo ahead and stereo behind. Okay, then you've got Mars over here. So this right here, these lines, when they're connected, that's a lot of geomagnetic pulling or energy pulling away from the Sun. So we're going to have more sunspots. Okay, and that date actually begins on the 23rd. So as we get here into the 23rd, now look at this. Mercury decides he wants to spin in here and try to get in the lineup as well. So we're going to have Mercury, Earth, Jupiter, and Neptune all pulling in this one direction down one line. You know, all the lines are going to be lining up together. So we're definitely going to have more active sunspot regions. We're going to have more coronal mass ejections, and we're going to have more flares. And just to keep everybody in mind, we're over here at earthquakesvolcanodiscovery.com. Remember what I told you guys a few days ago about the solar winds decreasing and stopping, and that we're going to get an uptick in earthquakes and volcanic activity. All of these orange ones means that's a warning. Okay? If you look up here, you can see warning, minor activity. Red ones means they're erupting. That is full eruption. So we've got volcanoes erupting all along the tectonic plates. We've got one going off over here in Hawaii. But the other thing that it causes is earthquakes. Right here in Papau New Guinea, look at this. 7.6 magnitude in Papau New Guinea. Well, the other thing that it has caused, I mean, look at all these earthquakes. There's a crap ton of them. But the big one, well, guess what that caused? Yep, you guessed it. This is at the National Buoy Center. It caused a buoy to go off. And here we got one right here. So get up here. Let's get up here to it. We can see right here we got our strike. Let's go ahead and take a look at the event details. And right here, this is our meters for wave height. Okay, so this right here is what's not normal. Okay, normal is where it just kind of goes down, you know, and up and down. Well, you can see the strike here. Now these are here again. These are in meters. It went up, it shot up, and then dropped way down, and then shot back up again. So there is more than likely a tsunami strike from that. That was such a large volcano that it's definitely going to cause that. In fact, it was 7.6. Let's see how deep it was. We were at 68 kilometers deep. Wow, that's a pretty deep one. And then we had another one here. Look at this, just recently today on 9/11, of magnitude 5.5, South Pacific Ocean in Fiji. So yeah, folks, we're gonna have to definitely keep our eyes open and see what happens here. Please say a little prayer for the people over in Papua New Guinea, because I mean the earthquake's gonna be bad enough for people to have to go through, but then imagine a big old tsunami coming up on shore after the earthquake. I mean, talk about insult to injury. But both are catastrophic. Because I mean, now you've got debris all on the ground, and this wave's going to come in and just slosh it all around. Where before it was a standing building. Yeah, that ain't good. So keep your eyes open, no fear, and remember that love is the only way forward. Solar Wolf out.